Alright, so today we'll be looking at trigonometry, and we're looking at the ratios in trigonometry. Now for short we call them trig ratios, right? Now when you're looking at the trig ratios, we usually use these to find a missing side or a missing angle for a triangle. But the only triangle that we could use trig ratios to find the missing side or the missing angle would be right angle triangles. So you have to look for this little right angle in the triangle, and that's when you're going to know that you have to use the trig ratios. Later on you would come across the trig rules, which would be the sine rule and the cosine rule, and we would go through those. Those could be used to solve problems that are non-right angle triangles, right? So before you go into the ratios, you must first know what is this side. This side is what we call the hypotenuse. And the hypotenuse is, some people would say, the longest side. Now, when you look at drawing, sometimes you can't identify which is the longest side. So I would say the hypotenuse is a side that's opposite the right angle. So wherever you see this little box, the side that is directly opposite this little box becomes the hypotenuse. And this side is what we say is the longest side. Alright, so we said that we could use trig ratios only to solve for right angle triangle. So now these are the three ratios: sine theta, cos theta, and tan theta. Now the theta represents an angle. Sometimes they give you an angle, or sometimes they give you theta, where you would have to find the missing angle. And if they give you an angle, then you have to use the angle on the one side that is given to find the missing side that they're looking for. Now sine theta is equals to opposite over hypotenuse, cos theta is equals to adjacent over hypotenuse, and tan theta is equals to opposite over adjacent. Well, you already know what or where to find the hypotenuse. So if you're given a question with an angle and you have to find the missing side, you could easily identify which side is the hypotenuse, which would make it easier to solve. Now the opposite side and the adjacent side would be dependent on which angle they gave you. So let's say they gave you an angle that's at the bottom here. Then if I'm standing at this angle, this side would become the side opposite me, and this side that is below would become the side adjacent to me. Or if they gave you an angle that is up here, then this side would now become the opposite side, and then here would become the adjacent side. Now let's not confuse ourselves with this as yet, but that's how you do it. Whichever angle is given, if you're given here and you're standing here, then this becomes opposite you. This is the adjacent. If you're given this angle and you're standing here, then this becomes opposite and this becomes adjacent. Now, how do you remember these ratios? It's easy. So it's SOH CAH TOA. So we say SOHCAHTOA. Sine opposite hypotenuse, cosine adjacent hypotenuse, tan equals opposite over adjacent. Or some people would say, some old horses can always hear their owners approach. And that's how we remember the three trig ratios.